Okay, gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Here.
Ms. Poliska? Present. Mrs. McKnight?
Here.
Mayor Morgan?
Here.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Here.
Mr. Kogan?
Here.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Here.
Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's a public meeting, Borough Council, Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey. Adequate notice has been given in accordance with 1975, Chapter 231, that annual notice of revision was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act. Well, tonight we have one of the fun things to do, and we're going to be hiring a police officer. So I need, could you read title for Resolution 55, please?
Resolution appointing Lindsay Noth as probationary police officer in the Police Department of the Borough of New Providence.
Roll call, please.
I just need a motion, too.
I need a motion.
Make a motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan? Aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Poliska?
Aye.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan?
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Mom and Dad? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Put your left hand in there and raise your right hand. We'll make it easy for you. I state your name.
I, Lindsay Knopf,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United
and the
States
Constitution
and the
of
Constitution
the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of police officer
all the duties of the police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Chief, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for Lindsay. We have an outgoing officer who's retiring in the coming month. Lindsay just graduated from the Johnny Samuel Police Academy in December as a SLEO 2, which we can easily convert from a paperwork standpoint into a full-time police officer. So it allows us to get her into our full-time status as quickly as possible. So we're happy to have her aboard. She did a great job in the police academy. We look forward to a whole number of years with her here at the police department. Couple of pictures. Thank you. Thank you. Wait. Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to shake my hand? Yeah. Sure. That's okay.
Okay, before I do anything else, I promised everybody, as soon as I found out about the drones, that I would inform the community. As I suspected, it must have been Department of Defense doing research. They were given FAA clearance to do it. Why it wasn't told in the very beginning and stopped a lot of this hysteria is beyond me, but I'm glad it's finally out now. So, at this, I need a motion for the minutes of January 7th adjourned meeting.
So moved?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes. Yes.
No? So be it. Okay, January 7th reorg meeting. Motion, please.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
No, so be it. Okay, we have correspondence. We have two from Rebecca Caniglio regarding parking issues. Let's see. Board of Adjustment hearing for 32 Old Oak Drive, Union County Board of Commissioners, special notice regarding the Clark Reservoir Improvement Project. And Alan, I'm sure you're right on top of that, right?
On top.
Okay. New Providence Fire Department, we want to welcome Cooper D. Nelson to the department. And Planning Board, which we just talked about, Matt, on February 4th, 41 Old Brook Lane. Any comments?
No.
Seeing none, we'll go to administration. Kathleen?
Yes. This is an ordinance 2025-01, an ordinance amending Chapter 201 of the Code of the Borough of New Providence entitled Peddling and Soliciting. Amending this ordinance will prohibit food trucks from purchasing a peddler permit to sit on borough streets and sell food. This will not preclude food trucks from being able to attend events within the borough. Then we have Resolution 2025-56. This is a resolution authorizing agreement between the Borough of New Providence and GovPilot LLC for a one-year term. This is approving the annual contract with GovPilot. It's the municipal management software that allows us to streamline operations, allows residents the ability to do business with us even when we are closed, and it allows the clerk's office to process dog, cat licenses, leaf permits, parking permits, tree removal permits, etc.
All right, just so everybody knows, ordinance 01 is an introduction. It'll come up for vote next meeting. Okay, advisory board, Alex.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2025-57, resolution approving a request of the New Providence Sustainability Advisory Committee to sponsor community events during the calendar year 2025. I'm just going to read a few of these. We had on January 20th, our first event was the MLK Day, where we looked for all of our advisory boards or volunteer groups. So that happened recently. That was great. The Community Garden is going to be open in February. Community Cleanup Day, we're aiming sometime at the end of April. There's the Seed at the Library in the spring. There's going to be in May a mobile shredding event. July, August, we usually, thanks to Donna, we do the Green Challenge. And the most important date is the Free Cycle Fest, which will be on Sunday, September 14th. And hopefully we don't need September 21st as our rain week.
Okay, sounds great. Nadine, our favorite subject,
Yes.
affordable housing.
What we've all been waiting for. Okay, Resolution 2025-58 is a resolution of the Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey, committing to DCA's fourth round affordable housing present need and prospective need numbers as modified. Okay, so just to backpedal just a little bit to catch anybody up who's not following the situation. On October 18th, we received our numbers from the DCA, which is the Department of Community Affairs. This number was 210. This equates to a total of 1,050 units, 840 market rate units, and 210 affordable units. 1 month after that, the DCA released their calculation methodology. And we have until the end of January, so this particular meeting, to recalculate and pass a resolution for a number that we are happy with, or that we're accepting, not that we're happy with. So our planners reviewed all the various factors that the DCA used, all the different components, and the one factor where they were able to find issue was the land capacity factor. So the DCA calculation included several parcels of land, or like polygons, that they said were developable, which were clearly not the case. This included some of our open space inventory. It included polygons of land that were right on the railway and some private property, and actually the land that's wrapped around the Presbyterian Church, which we all know as wetlands. We removed these pieces from the calculation. So after we removed it, we were able to lower our number from 210 to 198. While, lowering at 12 doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but lowering at 12 equates to 792 market rates only for a total of 990. So better than we were at. After passing this resolution, if anybody out there wants to challenge it, like the court or anybody else, they have until the end of February to do so, and then we have until the end of March to work that challenge out. And we will need to have a solid plan in place on how we are going to meet this obligation by the end of June. The Affordable Housing Committee is in the process of tackling how this is going to be accomplished. We are researching any and all options to do our best for our town and our residents. So stay tuned, more to come. So the number we are passing in resolution tonight again is 198.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go community activities. Diane.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2025-59 is a resolution authorizing the application for the Local Recreation Improvement Grant 2025 for the Borough of New Providence. So this basically is requesting approval to submit an application for the 2025 Local Recreation Improvement Grant Program. And this would be in the amount of $60,000 to purchase benches and shade structures around the new walking path. And there is no match required for this. So that's a win.
Okay, Lisa, Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2025-60, resolution authorizing the payment of the attached bill payable list. The amount is $3,564,728.30. Significant items include $2,600,688 for the January school tax levy. The insurance JIF is $178,422, and that's payment one of three. Horizon Blue Cross and Blue Shield, $134,308.44. That's the January payments. The New Providence Memorial Library for $104,957.50 for the January appropriation, and Suburban Disposal for $45,333.33, and that is our December solid waste number.
Okay. We have a couple of limousine license applications, Summit Express Limo, MP Car and Limo, and Summit Taxi. And we have applications for raffle and bingo for Summit Speech School, OLP, two of them, 1234 and 1235. All these applications have been properly prepared and reviewed. We have resolution 61 accepting the written retirement for Steve Opaleski. He's been a sergeant for a number of years in our police department. In fact, I just saw him. I guess he just came off shift, and he said he had a picture of Dan, you, myself, and him when he was getting sworn in. That's scary, huh?
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Yeah. He said something like, we all have more hair and have more color in our hair. Okay, resolution 62. It's a resolution, sale of property no longer needed by the borough, and it goes out for an online auction. These are old police cars and equipment like that. Ordinance 02 is an ordinance amending Chapter 257, the code entitled Vehicles and Traffic. What this is on Willow Street, if we put the sidewalk in, it's on the wrong side, so we got to put it on the right side. And what this will do is amend the parking along Willow Street during those certain times.
This is an introduction.
Yeah, it's an introduction. Okay, then one of my favorites is authorization to bid the rapid flashing beacons. One on Ridgeview and Springfield Avenue, and the other one on Livingston and Springfield. So we'll go to Public Works. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, we have an authorization to bid solid waste and yard waste. Our current contract is expiring for our collection weekly collection in April, so we're going to go out to bid. I don't know if you guys remember in our previous contract, we had one bidder, right? So hopefully we'll get a few more bidders. Pricing, obviously,
Good luck with
is
that.
continuing to go up.
There's only two companies.
Yeah.
And they take
And their brothers, yeah.
Just to note that we are going to go actually out for a bid and an alternate bid on our bulk pickup included in that bid process. There's another authorization to bid landscaping services. Our grass cutting services has expired in December, so every year, so we're going to go out for another contract. A bid for another contract for our landscaping grass cutting services. Bernadette, as usual, always looking for ways to help save taxpayer money. She's actually going out for 2 bids for our grass cutting services. Right now, currently, we have 38 parcels of land that are cut by our landscaping services. Approximately 20 of those are large in nature, about 18 of them are small, so we're going to try and get 2 bids, an alternate bid on the 20 large parcels, and then one on all 38. And if it makes sense, we may look for ways to have our DPW pick up the difference, which would in turn potentially save some money for our taxpayers. So we'll get those 2 bids in and we'll see where that goes. Resolution 25-63 is a resolution approving the requisition for a rapid pump meter service in the amount not to exceed $7,761.75 for shaft sleeves for Summit Pumps at the wastewater treatment plant. This is for some spare parts that Tony is hoping to have on hand. Steel shaft sleeves, don't know what that means, but
It means they must break a lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a cylinder, the
yeah,
shaft is in, so the shaft doesn't get broken.
right.
So they'll be using capital funds going through our Bergen co-ops. So we thank Tony for that, and that was it.
Okay, next we have discussion items for 2025 council goals. I know every one of you council people have sent in something to Bernadette and she collated them, so I'm gonna leave it to you, Lisa.
Yeah, so before, so just to give you a little background on this, like Al was saying, we collectively, document what we want to accomplish for this coming year. We always have a lot of great ideas, but so we try to document them and try to see if they're feasible to work on in the coming year. So the goals will then typically fall under 4 different categories. They include infrastructure and facilities, community appearance and economic development, that's one category. The next one being stewardship of public funds, being an employer of choice, technological innovation, and transparent public service, that's number 2. The third is protecting and promoting resident health, safety, environmental health, and sustainability. And the fourth being promoting borough unity and supporting our diverse community by encouraging community connections, civic engagement, and improving resident health and wellness. These goals that we come up with, they're fluid, okay? So they're not hard and fast. We document them, but sometimes other priorities sneak in. We sometimes give a lot of thought, we give a lot of work to them, and they also take a lot of resources at times. So we try to chisel off as many as we can, but if in the event that we did not cover it in the prior year, we do carry it over to the next year. So you'll see that between 24 and 25. So before we review the 2025 goals, we really wanted to share with you what our goal achievements were in 2024. This past year has really been one of significant progress and development for our community, and we're excited to share the outcomes of our collective efforts. Throughout the year, as you guys that come to the council meetings, that we listen, we openly engage, and we listen, and we try to address your needs. And so those are evident in the goals that we've achieved in 24. Some of the goals were ambitious, but really with the dedication and the collaboration of our borough administrator, our borough staff, our police chief, as council members, Al, and, community partners and residents, we've made really some remarkable strides in these various areas. So we're going to highlight our 2024 goals, and we'll start with the first category, which is infrastructure, facilities, community appearance, and economic development.
Sure. So the first one there, and I want to thank Chief Hatton and Bernadette, and of course Keith Lynch, just the work that they've done to develop an architectural plan for the police station to renovate with the police department that focuses on compliance, needs for a better work environment, and best practices. So we're still continuing with that. That was one that will carry over. We're currently just working on the funding mechanism with the Finance Committee with Jim Testa.
You want to do all the ones that you have in that category?
Sure.
Yeah.
Continue with the annual road maintenance. I think we've been pretty vocal highlighting the amount of roads that were completed last year throughout the borough. We're also now looking into, thanks to our DPW team and of course Keith again, this is improving the garages and the facilities at the DPW facility. Replacing the fascia surrounding the municipal center that has fallen into a little disrepair. We've already started this, replace the roof at the municipal center and the library. I think that's all I have in this category.
Yep.
I wanted to share.
Matt?
Okay, so one of our goals last year, and it's kind of really been a goal of ours it's really a goal of ours every year really, is to look for ways to continue to upgrade our recreational facilities, and that includes our parks, our fields, our playgrounds. So last year, we were able to add the pickleball courts. We added new playground equipment at Lions Park. We've upgraded the walkway and the hitting wall and the drainage around the tennis courts. Those are really significant wins, for the community. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the spring to get out there and see. I walked it. I've been walking that as before, during, and even after the whole, planning and implementation of that project, and just talking to people out there playing, and it's really, important thing for us in the community. People to get outside, right? People to get out and walk. There's so many people that walk the path around the tennis courts and the pool, and they just love it, right? And they just talk to people, and they're like, this is great, thank you so much. And, again, these are things that, these are easy, low-lying fruit that we can, we can pick off. And there's a lot of things on this list, but, I'm proud to say that, we've been working on this ever since, I've been on council for sure, and I know Al's a, big proponent too, of just continuing to look at our recreation. We've upgraded a lot of them over the years. These are some of the kind of end of the cycle of all the different parks and fields. I'm not saying we won't continue to look at them, because we will, but I think we've done a lot over the last 5-6 years in terms of all of our parks and fields, and there's a few more things that I know that Allison and the Recreation Department have in their future, and I look forward to working with them on continue that.
Diane?
I thought you were next. So one of our big things this past year was to complete the Film Ready New Jersey certification and marketing program to accommodate on-location filming in New Providence. A huge shout out to Lamar, who was very instrumental in speaking with us and helping us to get this going. It started out with, I think it was at last year's, the 2023 League of Municipalities. Lisa and I, we saw Lamar, we went to the booth, and we're like, this is so great, let's do this. We got Alex on board. We went to a couple of conferences to learn how to basically get all of our ducks in a row. We used best practices, we saw what other towns did, and we figured out what was right for us. So shout out to Bernadette and Cindy and Detective Strutenovic, I never say his name right. Strutenovic, I should know that I'm Polish, right? And of course Lamar and Union County, and I'm sorry if I'm missing somebody. So we designated a Film Ready liaison, that's Bernadette, our borough administrator. We adopted a code of conduct. We had the Union County come in and take photos because they were the experts of what people are looking for. So we uploaded our images. We have a public description tag. So on the website, I have to get the website link for you guys. You can put in different buzzwords, and you can search by a location or by, I want an old church with a steeple. So it's really very extensive and cool. We sent first names and last names and email addresses who will have access to our system to upload photos, and that's Cindy. We submitted at least five local businesses for restaurants, caterers, food trucks, lodging, hotels, office supplies, et cetera, et cetera. So if you think about it, when film crews come to our community, it's not just the community and the location. They have to get food from somewhere. They sometimes will stay overnight. So all of our local businesses win from this too. And then, after all the above steps have been completed, fill out the certificate application. You can send a copy to the final filming guidelines and a quote from the mayor to Film Ready, New Jersey. And it is complete. So it's Film Ready NJ at njeda.gov. So check that off. So it's really exciting.
Where can we fill out our applications for extras and background?
Film Ready, New Jersey, or just give your name and number to Lamar.
I'm
Maybe
available,
he'll get it. He'll get it to the right people. So yeah, it's very exciting.
Great. Our next category is lead in managerial best practices.
Yeah, you had this.
It was the beautification committee, but we're going to carry that over. So we'll talk about it in 25.
Okay.
Lead in managerial best practices through strong stewardship of public funds, being an employer of choice, and providing technologically innovative and transparent public service. So we'll start with the budget, and Diane.
And like Lisa said, some of these carry over, and this is something that we seek every single year.
Yeah.
But in 2024, create a budget that seeks to respond to the service expectations of the community, appropriately addresses unmet needs, respond to growth inflation, and is fiscally responsible. It was such a great experience and a very easy one, thanks to our dedicated borough staff, all of our department heads, Bernadette, and especially Jim Testa. A huge shout out to him. Very responsive. Any question that we needed, he was always there. And we really tried to scrub and push different things, and I think we really had a very lean budget last year.
Thank you for that. And I think you got one more.
Oh, I do have one more, sorry. The revaluation of real property within the borough according to its full and fair value. So this is an ongoing process, and Suburban Consulting is finishing up the round of corrections to the tax maps. So what happens is they do our tax maps, and then it's sent to the state, and then if the state has a question, they send it back. So if you followed any of the meetings from last year, there's a lot of back and forth, and it takes months for it to come back. So
That will definitely be carried over.
yeah, it's being carried over, but it's in process, and there's been a lot of work on it. But the reval cannot occur until the maps are approved by the state, so that's what we're waiting on. And I think that's all of me.
That would be me. Okay, so the two that I'm going to read are also items that come up year over year. And the first one is about grants. And I'm going to start with, again, like Diane was saying, shout outs to our borough administrator Bernadette, to Allison. Basically, all of the employees are always empowered to really go out and try to find grants, trying to find the best way that we can finance things without necessarily burdening it on the taxpayer. That's an ongoing thing that they do, and they're very successful at it. So 2024 saw that we applied for the Union County Infrastructure Grant, and we received $50,000. We applied for the Green Acres funding, which is called Jake's Law, for Oakwood Park playground replacement and bathroom upgrade, and we received $750,000. We worked with Tom Kane's office to secure funding for the Army Corps of Engineers to study the Passaic River to reduce flooding. Our project was advanced in the amount of $500,000 as part of the 2024 Water Resources Development Act at the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee markup on June 26th. We applied for our NJ Clean Energy Planning Grant Program and received $10,000. We applied for fiscal year 2024 Local Recreation Improvement Grant for Oakwood Park. We received $74,000. And we applied for 2024 Safe Routes to School, which we have several times in the past. Shout out to Donna Zane out there for all of her work on that as well. And we received $534,000. And correct me if I'm wrong, what is about our total nowadays on Safe Routes to School? We're well over, like, have to be like $2 million. We know, Donna, do you know how much we've gotten so far in total? A lot.
Yeah, it's about-
We've just gotten a lot.
$1.3 million.
A million, yeah, and that's before this 500, so thank you to everybody in administration who's worked on getting those grants, and I'm sure more to follow. And the other thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that, in trying to save our taxpayers' expenses, we look for shared services. So we are continuously looking for shared services, things that will benefit our town. You know, we don't enter things if we're not going to get a benefit from it, but we make sure that they make sense for our borough, expense-wise, logistic-wise, et cetera. So we continue to explore opportunities for shared services with the county and with other municipalities. And just like the grants, this is an ongoing process. The borough has collaborated with the county for 2 shredding trucks so far this year to assist with destroying documents as per the records retention schedule. Not to mention, you know, the shared services that we have with dispatch, shared services we have with other towns around machinery and services. So again, shout out to everybody who's worked on shared services. That's it for me.
The next couple of completed goals center around our personnel and the fact that in 2024, we did see some turnover upstairs, right? We've had some folks retire, we've had some new ones, existing employees in new roles, which is always nice to see. And so these next few completed goals pertain to that.
Are they still in their probationary period, or are they out of it by now?
They're not laughing.
What? Wait, there's a probationary period?
So one of them is to supervise and monitor employees transitioning to new roles because of retirements, which I just said. Recruit and train a new finance office personnel. So that was completed. Let's see, continue to provide opportunities for professional development. So I do know that our staff does take advantage of different opportunities to go to seminars. I know Bernadette has gone to several, and we do have opportunities for that they should take us up on. Examine the employee evaluation process. This is ongoing, but we were successful in implementing a process and effective procedures that we will follow going forward. We did some employee evaluations this year for the first time in a long time, so I feel really good about that goal and that we now have a process in place to put that going forward. And then the last one here is to investigate companies that would electronically preserve municipal files, eliminating the need for paper files and space. So this is always ongoing as well. We have been looking at companies and just to get rid of the voluminous paper that we have. And, you know, I don't know, in my own company where I work during the day, we used to have rooms and rooms of files and papers. And when we did a move, they made us get rid of all the paper, and it was like, yeah. But there are companies that will scan, store, and document all of that. So that is an ongoing goal of ours. The third category that we have is to protect resident health, safety, and education by promoting public safety, environmental health, and sustainability.
Yeah, for the sake of time, since
Yeah.
so many of them are being carried over,
Yep.
I'll highlight my favorite one.
Highlight your favorites.
That we installed the EV charging station.
Yes.
Right outside here. There's 2 chargers. They're not active yet. We have to decide on the rate that we have to charge. That has to be done by ordinance or resolution. So that's coming very soon. So we'll be promoting that, and that's quite a bit of effort on Keith's part, Bernadette's part, so really appreciate us completing that.
Matt, I think you had one on there.
Oh, well, I was just thinking, you're just mentioning a lot of the goals about internally, right?
Yeah.
Like putting people in place in positions, right? People retiring, right? Training people, and I just want to say, like, those are some of the goals. There's really nothing you don't really see, right? You can see a new playground, equipment, right? You can see walking paths, or you can see certain grants coming in, things of that nature. But those internal goals that are set, by our borough administrator and the heads of each of the departments and the people that are actually working in those departments. I just want to say, I want to commend everyone for, their professionalism, being able to switch into new jobs, right? Train people to do new jobs, and it's seamless, right? And people don't really get to see that, or they may come into the borough for something, to talk to someone or get information, right? Or call or whatever, go on our website to look for things, and all that stuff happens behind the scenes, and people just, it's not tangible. You can't really, see it. And at the end of the day, the goal should always be to make sure that is seamless, and people don't see it, right? And people don't have the pain of the fact that someone had left an important role at the borough, and there's no one there that has the knowledge and history to be able to do that job. So, that to me, just listening to you talk about it and just thinking how we lived through it, and it was so seamless and unbelievable that, everyone should be commended on, having that as an achievable goal and being able to do it without any disruption whatsoever. It's remarkable.
And Bernadette does such an amazing job of forward thinking. So she doesn't wait until someone leaves, right? Or doesn't wait until something happens. There's cross-training going on all the time. So they're learning each other's roles, and well before someone retires. It's important for them to be able to fill in or step in if someone's not there. And you guys do an amazing job of that. So.
Yeah, and not to bounce off the website, but like sometimes people have complained to us, why doesn't the website have somebody's name on it? And it's because certain emails are shared so that there's always coverage. So talk about, always thinking about the solution. So.
One thing I do want to bring up is that we have put hundreds of thousands of dollars in upgrades in the wastewater treatment plant this year.
100%.
And,
That's right.
That's something you don't see. But and it's something that if it wasn't
You don't want to see.
you would know about it real quick. So I thought that was important to add. So, okay.
There was just one more that I wanted to mention, and that was the in the fourth category, and it had to do with our council committees and standard operating procedures. So we were very successful this year in completing the committee handbook, where we were able to really aggregate everything in one place. So we were able to bring all the SOPs in one spot, bring all the procedures in one place, and just really have a guideline, right? As we've called it forever, Council for Dummies, but it's not really, we're not really dummies, but just having everything in one place. And it took us a long time, and I would say that was a good goal that was accomplished in 2024.
For all boards,
For all boards,
and
commissions,
committees.
yeah. So real quick, I'm going to go through our Borough Council goals and objectives for 2025, starting with that first category of the public infrastructure, facilities, community appearance. We're going to continue to work with the architect and finance department on looking at the existing police station and how we're going to secure the financing for that. Again, we're going to continue with the annual road maintenance program. A lot of these goals, like I said, carry over, and they just carry over year after year. We're going to look at continued upgrades in the wastewater treatment plant. We're going to work with vendors and the finance department to replace the existing garages in the DPW yard. So that is something that We're still really in the early process of looking to see how we can do that and how are we going to pay for it. So that's in the works. We're going to continue working with Safe Routes to School, design team to implement 2016, 2018, and 22 grants. Two new ones, we're going to oversee the installation of the pool bridge, and we're going to complete the evaluation of the need for a cul-de-sac, possibly at Southgate, and plan for that installation if needed. In the second category of managerial best practices, again, we're going to work diligently on the 2025 budget. We're going to, obviously looking to respond to growing inflation. That's a problem. Sometimes revenues don't grow at the same pace as inflation, as we also all saw in our home budgets this year. So that might be a challenge, but we're going to be vigilant and diligent to be as fiscally responsible as possible there. We're going to continue to seek grants to support the borough goals. We're going to complete the reval once we get the tax maps. So that's on the agenda, hopefully for an accomplishment this year. We're going to continue to explore opportunities for shared services with the county and other municipalities. We're going to provide opportunities for professional development and cross-training of employees, as we were just saying. We are in the process of compiling new and updated job descriptions for all the borough job positions, working with the departments to ensure that all job responsibilities are included in the descriptions. We're working on developing a 5-year strategic plan. So a lot of our goals are very short-term focused. We're going to look to expand the vision and look more long-term a little bit. We're going to complete the codification of the ordinances and evaluate and update the communication plan. These were all things that carry over year after year. We've included in this to continue to evaluate and budget for hiring a standalone Office of Emergency Management Coordinator. So that would be a new part-time position that we're going to look to fill this year. As far as resident health, safety, education, public safety, we're going to continue to update the forest management plan. We are going to update the sustainability awareness policy because the current policy for sustainability retired in 2023. We're going to assess options for energy efficient buildings, vehicles, and other purchases as we can withstand within our operating budget and capital plan. We're going to seek to gain silver certification from Sustainable New Jersey to create a better future in New Providence that secures economic, environmental, and societal well-being. And I know that Kathleen was integral in working with the Sustainability Committee last year and getting this rolling. So hopefully this year we can get that completed. We are going to replace the windows at the Municipal Center with more energy efficient and safe windows. This is something that we have been saving for over the past couple of years. We're going to conduct energy audits on all municipal buildings, and this is something that we continually do as well. We're going to monitor utility upgrades throughout the borough. We're going to continue to implement plans to increase pedestrian safety. Al mentioned tonight that we're going to be replacing the flashing beacons at 2 of our crosswalks. We're going to conduct public hearings on traffic improvements and future needs. And I think Al will talk about that a little bit later. And then the last category is to promote borough unity and support our increasingly diverse community. We're going to continue to evaluate the council committees and the procedures. So we don't just automatically every year reappoint the committees. We look and see if there's a need for it. And even if, we've had a little issue this year with one of the committees maybe not having enough members, but as a council, we feel that there's a need for that committee. And so we will try what we can to get it rolling and to get people involved in it. We're going to continue to work with our downtown businesses to improve the economy, appearance, and the image of our downtown business district. And this is something that we do every year continuously, is to encourage citizen involvement and engage various community partners. We just had MLK volunteer fair on this past week. We want residents to get involved. We want them to care. We want them to to participate, right? If you participate in something, you kind of take ownership of it, you care about it, and it becomes yours. We want these committees to become yours, right, the residents, not ours, they're yours. So hopefully we get some good life and some good new volunteers. Explore the additional need for communication tools. Diane did a great job getting the website up and rolling, but there's always room for improvement as far as communication goes. Evaluate the need for additional programs and resources for the borough's aging population, and that's why we put the new committee in place for the older adults committee. And lastly, engage the community in the borough's revolutionary past through material resources, commemorative events, and educational programs. And that will circle to Diane's Rev 250 committee, which will commemorate the 250th birthday of our country.
Yeah, and it's not just that, it's kind of like past, present, and future, because there's so much history. If you've ever heard Al speak at any of our events, there's so much history in New Providence, and it's very exciting. Actually, I'll talk about it in my committees, but it's really cool.
Thank you for bearing with me and my wobbly voice.
Can't be worse than mine. Okay, a couple things. Today I went to a business association meeting. It was very well attended. It's growing bigger and bigger all the time. There were, I think, 40 people there this morning. But the big concern was the Passaic River Bridge. All of you know, it's been posted that on Thursday it's going to be closed. We're not sure how long it's going to take, but they were supposed to start last August, September. They, for whatever reason, I think they were held up by utilities and other things, but apparently the bridge is being fabricated as we speak. Am I right, Dan?
My understanding, yes.
Yeah, so hopefully, once they shut the utilities off underneath the bridge, they can demolish it, and the new fabricated bridge can be brought in. So hopefully it won't take as long as everybody thinks, because they've already had a lead time to start fabricating
Originally
the
it was
bridge.
about a year. They've been thinking about it for 4 years now, so hopefully it'll take.
Yeah, well, they had a litigation with a contractor, so
When did they first start that?
before COVID,
before
it would have been
COVID.
nice if they were building it during COVID, you know, because if they started a project, the rule was they could keep working on it, but it didn't work out that way. The other thing was South Street. We were told that South Street will be first on the list with county paving, so we're hoping around April 1st. And, but we know how that works, but let's hope. John Signorello, our new fire chief, has had quite a month so far. 2 house burns, and they had another one today. A refrigerator condenser went up. So, yeah. But they caught that in time. But the other one was on Woodruff Court, and it was a bad one. Apparently, it was a space heater, and just please, everyone, if you're using a space heater, keep it away from other things, because you never know when that thing's going to go. And that thing went up pretty quick.
And don't use extension cords with space heaters too.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
So,
I'm not saying that they did.
but I want to thank the fire department for everything that they've done. They've had a tough month, and I want to thank the other fire companies from the surrounding towns, because they come right away to help. And it's amazing who comes. The mutual aid system works perfectly. So, I know on Ralph's house, Chatham Township was there first.
So they're right around the corner.
Yeah,
You're closer
right?
to them. Yeah.
Exactly. But, you know, everybody works together, and it's really a good thing to see. Not only the fire department, but the rescue squads are there to make sure our firemen are safe. The police always have the traffic under control. So, and DPW, you know, we hear about it every 15 minutes when they do that accident scene. But when you see a fire or something like that, you see where it all works together, and it means a lot. Excuse me. Another thing, Lamar, you're always hiding behind that TV screen, and, you know, the reorg, I didn't thank you, but I want to thank you tonight because you do one great job for us, and I really appreciate it. It's not that easy to find good videographers. Okay. I have chat with the mayor on the 7th at 6:30 to 8. And Bobby Peer approached me, and we're going to start the mayor's forum again, where we're going to do it here. And she'll ask, it's a back and forth question. Sometimes I'll bring in the department head, and we'll elaborate on some of the departments and some of the common questions. So she's excited about it, and so am I. Let's see. And the big one, every year we go over our traffic plans. Okay? This year it's going to be February 19th, that's a Wednesday night, here at 7 o'clock. And, you know, we've always tried to keep everybody informed about what's coming on the next coming year. And I think we've been pretty good over the last 3 years about doing it. And I think Dan and I and Bernadette went to a Union County, what was that, Dan? It was a federal grant that they were getting for pedestrian and roadway safety.
Correct.
And we went there, and they had all these things with the rapid flashers, speed humps, this and that. We did all of them. In fact, the one thing that we do that nobody else even thought of was the flags, you know? So, you know, I could see we were way, way ahead of the curve from everybody else. But I think a lot has to do with education. So I think that's all I have. Kathleen.
Thank you, Mayor. Talking about the two committees that I've participated in so far this year. The first one Lisa mentioned, not by name, but it's the Diversity Committee. And the 2025 goal for the Diversity Committee is to reestablish a mechanism to ensure the borough can meet the stated expectation of this committee, which is to assess diversity and the cultural climate within the Borough of New Providence, identify strengths and weaknesses, and create a framework for inclusiveness and unity within our community. We are seeking more New Providence residents to volunteer for this important work, and we'd love for you to please consider joining us by visiting the Volunteer Advisory Committee site on the borough website at newprov.us. And when you get to the Volunteer Advisory Committee's page, just click on the volunteer application. So we would love for as many people as would like to join us. The second committee is the Municipal Alliance. This is a very organized and focused group that Alex Cogan and I attended the first meeting of the year on Wednesday, January 8th. This year there's many educational events that are planned, and they're all focused on increasing awareness of alcohol, drug, and other substance abuse and misuse. The Municipal Alliance supports these programs with the grant funding they receive. Also on Tuesday, January 21st, a meeting was held between the Municipal Alliance and members of the Board of Ed, and including Superintendent Lauren Zerpeli and Director of Curriculum Instruction and Supervision John Keeney, where we discussed ways to further collaborate on extracurricular events and programming to continue the effort to deter students from substance abuse. I just also wanted to mention that there will be a showing of the film Screenagers on Wednesday, February 5th, that's a week from tomorrow, at New Providence High School, starting with pizza at 6:30. That is the draw to get people to come to the film. Then the movie and the panel discussion afterwards will focus on the impact of the digital age on children and how to help them minimize harmful effects and find balance. So this is part of the Parent Wellness Series presented by the consortium of Berkeley Heights, Chatham, Milburn, New Providence, and Summit school districts. But pre-registration is required. You can find the link to pre-register if you search on Tap Into and you search on Screenagers. It'll bring up the registration link. So again, if you're interested in joining the Municipal Alliance team, you can submit a volunteer application at the newprov.us site. Thank you.
Diane?
Thank you, Mayor. Communications, I'm going to get on my soapbox and say don't forget to go to the source, which would be, like Kathleen just said, newprov.us. You can also sign up for alerts there. I think that's Councilman Comiskey's favorite thing, the recycling and garbage alerts. We had our first coffee with council, which was pretty successful. We had a couple conversations. We received several messages. We're working on planning out the rest of our year. So if everybody can get me their dates that we'll talk about that. But we also have council people at Chat with the Mayor, so we'll schedule that out too. Community activities, again, go to the source on our website under government, then departments. There's a community activities tab which has everything there. Everybody stole all of my talking points about MLK Day of Service. Thank you for the Tap Into article, which has a lot of great information and links in there. There's registration was opened on the 21st for baseball, softball, and t-ball, because although we still have snow on the ground, our rec department is planning that. The community garden registration will open on February 4th and be open through the 18th via Community Pass system, and that is a link on the Recreation or Community Services website or webpage. All applicants will be waitlisted for the 2025 community garden registration. And if the number of applicants exceeds the number of plots available, there will be a lottery. Same thing as in the past. Downtown Improvement District, we had our first meeting. We're working on updating bylaws and a bunch of different things. So that's pretty exciting. There's a lot of work that will be done. It's kind of exciting. Can't wait to tell you guys soon. And then Board of Ed, Dr. Lauren Zerpeli had a State of the Schools report, and she updated everybody on the redistricting plan and the phase-in, and that could be found on the website, and there's a YouTube link. But for those of you who didn't see, Jeannie Drexlinger, the Saltbrook principal, is retiring. So at the effective July 31st. So that's sad to see her go. She's wonderful, but hopefully, they will find somebody. They always seem to find somebody great. So, and I think that's it.
Okay.
I'm sure I
Did you
missed
say
something.
bylaws were exciting? You're working on bylaws?
Yeah, right.
Each his own, Matt.
One thing I
You
do
know,
want to say,
there's exciting stuff going on. Bylaws is one of them.
last Thursday, the art departments in the school
Oh, yeah.
had an exhibition out here. Check out the artwork in the lobby. Every year they change it up. It was fantastic. I'll tell you, our students are so talented. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
So-
and grammar school kids too.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah.
this one pencil drawing of that a sixth grader did. It's
Yeah.
crazy amazing.
You were able to get some free art for us down the corridor.
Yeah, I said there was,
You commandeered.
yeah, I asked for some of the artwork of different buildings that they had, line drawings, and they gave them to us. We're gonna put it down the hallway. That hallway's awful bare, so, okay, Lisa.
I don't really really have much. I mean, Alex and I and Al met with all the different departments of public safety, which was nice, just to get an introduction to John and his new role as the fire chief, along with Will, Alex back there for EMS, and Jess. Of course.
That's like a by default.
Yeah. But I mean, it's amazing the work that they do and the amount of work that they put in for our community. I think that
Unpaid.
we just never
Keyword volunteer.
volunteer. Like, we just never need to forget that. We just never need to forget that these are people taking time away from their families, from their friends, from Netflix or whatever it is that we're doing on a weekend or typical weeknight. They're giving back and going out on calls continuously. It's amazing. And I just wanted to thank the EMTs back there and Jess
And fire.
and
back
fire.
there.
They're amazing people, and we're so lucky to have them.
Nadine?
Thank you, Mayor. So it's been great to get back with some committees I haven't been on in a while, and it's been a busy couple of weeks with a couple meetings. Councilman Cogan and I were at the Board of Health, which was always a very interesting meeting, hearing from our borough nurse, hearing from Westfield Board of Health, hearing from Animal Control. They all do a great job. Just a couple of notes, as everyone knows or has experienced, there's a lot of respiratory sickness out there, a lot of sicknesses in the schools. So the borough nurse.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thanks for giving me notice now.
There you go. I should have told you last time. There has been a lot of sickness in the school, so the Board of Health is asking that when parents do notify the school that their kids are going to be out, if they could report why they're out. It's hard now with the power school system, but it saves the school a lot of time. And also I put a note here, and this is on our website as well, if people do see dead birds around, they should report it to Animal Control. The avian flu, luckily we haven't had too much going on by us, but keep an open eye. And also watch out when you're trying to buy eggs, because they're very expensive now. Mental Health Advocacy and Education Committee, Councilwoman Lisa and I, McKnight, we had a meeting with our committee last week, and we are already planning ahead for Mental Health Awareness Month in May. So as we did last year, we expanded to Summit and Berkeley Heights. We're looking to expand that even more to many other towns. So we are going to be meeting on February 13th with a bigger array of towns. We're including Madison, we're including Long Hill,
Chatham.
Scotch Plains, who else?
Scotch Plains, no.
Scotch Plains was
Didn't
no.
Mountainside do it last year?
Mountainside, yeah, we're including Mountainside as well.
We're trying for Cranford.
And we're trying for Cranford. And we're also having organizations like NAMI and who were the other ones? There were a couple other ones.
The Kimberly Wilson.
Wilson. So again,
Foundation.
as we said in our goals, working with other groups and organizations out there to bring mental health awareness and education during Mental Health Awareness Month in May. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be ongoing. And last but not least, I was at the Historical Society meeting talking about history and the great things that they do. I love those calls. Those are mostly on phone because there's members that are in different states and different locations. So they're prepping up for this year, which looks to be exciting. They'll be working on Rev 250, so they are doing some organizing around that, such as they are painting and updating the Saltbox Museum. There's a sign for, the original sign for Lincoln School, which somebody found. So we're going to try to find a home for that. It's really
My
cool.
alma mater.
Yes, so we have to find a place for that. So Historical Society, happy to be back on it, and more to come. And I almost forgot, the cemetery tours. John Sponauer will be holding those in spring of 2025. So we'll bring more information on that, something that we highly recommend doing. So that's what I've been doing the last couple of weeks.
That's it?
Much more than that too, but.
Alex?
As starting my third year on council, I'm finally getting on some new committees that I've never been on. So as Councilwoman Jeff Floyd mentioned, the Board of Health. The one thing I wanted to mention, one thing that was decided was the amount of work the Board of Health does, not just for the 6 adjoining towns, but for New Providence. It's going to be a nice report, an infographic showing how many calls were made for what events. We saw a little taste of it at the Board of Health meeting, and as you said, what a great group of people. It's,
Very
I
dedicated.
didn't know what I was missing all these years.
Yeah, it's a great community.
On sustainability, as we mentioned, one of the goals is silver certification. The committee, subcommittee's been doing a lot of legwork and getting a lot of documentation together. We're pretty optimistic that it's achievable. Maybe at the next council meeting, we might have to pass a couple ordinances or just a catch-all where things that we're doing are in our policies, but not in our, it's not codified in a way. So we'll talk with Paul and see how many of those we might need to do. But they're all very simple things that we're doing, but they're in policies versus in ordinances. Let's see, Municipal Alliance, Kathleen mentioned. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, Matt?
So, it's the beginning of the year, you can tell as our committee reports are pretty extensive here, but, so I'll try and keep it brief. Planning board, we have a planning board meeting next week, like we discussed, we have the subdivision on Old Brook Lane. The Historic Preservation Committee met, it was my first meeting, I actually met them on the way out of the sustainability meeting. They're already hitting the ground running. They meet every month. They're looking at all of the historic homes in the borough. They put together a list of additional properties that they feel may be historic. I still have to get my arms around all what they're doing and whatnot. So more to come on that. We want to get in front of McKinley and the planning board on some things as well. Obviously, she's been very busy with, the affordable housing mandates. So more to come on that Historic Preservation Committee. Very dedicated group. Walked into that meeting on my way out, like I said, and Jeff Grove had that, running like a council meeting. John Sponhauer is there. He's calling for votes and seconds and all that stuff. So keeping it professional. Community pool. Councilperson Dolan and I met with a couple of members of the community pool board, as well as Bernadette Cacaro, just to discuss the pool lease. The pool lease we kind of extended a few times. They were in the middle of their summer and whatnot, but just at this point, we're just trying to work out a few things. As we've kind of mentioned over the last few years with the pool. They come in every year and they give their presentation on their budget and their finances, their capital, budget, et cetera. And things have changed, ever since COVID in terms of the pool and the membership at the pool and things like that. So we're looking at the lease, and personally, I read a lot of legal documents in my business, and I read through the legal document, trying to clean it up. I know Paul is like a little upset because I had a lot of comments and trying to clean some things up. I think he just wants to throw it in the garbage and start over with a fresh, which I don't blame him. But there are things in the lease that say no running. That was probably 50 years ago. That made sense. But we're just going to clean up some of that.
CWA,
Yeah.
CYA.
It still makes sense,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like,
purposes.
there's pool rules, right? And actually, one of the things we're going to try to add in the pool lease is that they're going to provide us with the pool rules, right? And if there's any changes to any of the pool rules on an annual basis, they'll come here and they'll tell us and provide us with that. I think something that was kind of missing. But, we have ordinances, they have pool rules and things like that that, may not necessarily need to be, stipulated in the lease. So we're looking at that and again, some of the financing things as well. So more to come. Hopefully we'll get that, finalized and ready for council approval in the
One
next
thing,
couple of
I
meetings.
do have a question, since you did say that, and Paul, you could probably answer it. They're a separate corporation. Do they have their own insurance, or are they under ours?
They should have their own.
They have their own.
They have their
Okay.
own.
And that's it. That's all I have.
That's it?
Yeah.
Keith?
About the pool, I can update you on the pool bridge. We're on target with the pool bridge because the shop drawings had been accepted. So currently, the bridge is in fabrication, and mobilization is anticipated for the beginning of April. So at the same time that they'll do the new bridge, the temporary bridge will arrive at the same time. So
Can I just add a caveat to that, because that was a talking point on our call with the pool board, and Bernadette was going to get tighter time frame on that, because there is the pool to get prepped to open for the season is required to have liquid chlorine come
Oh, I
through
used to
with big trucks
deliver
and things of that nature. So having that bridge down, depending on the timing of when the bridge is going to come out, and they need to get those trucks in, et cetera. So they just wanted to
Right.
make sure that we coordinate with them
And we will,
in terms
right,
of those
no, we
timings.
do it anticipating that, whether it's their first delivery of chlorine or the last delivery, to get them started for the season right.
Perfect.
Make that delivery before the bridge goes.
Great.
That's all.
That's it. Okay, at this time we have public comments.
Rebecca Caniglio, 48 Marion Avenue. As I have informed you several times, I do not have a lawyer representing me at this time, so I'm authorizing you to communicate with me. I'm here tonight to ask that you start the procedure to have a no stopping and no parking sign posted behind my driveway. I have repeatedly and for years documented that the road is too narrow and the vehicles are too large to allow us to safely access our own property on a consistent basis. Cars come flying around from Dunlap and flying off of Marion, and we are directly in the middle. There are a group of people who find it amusing to watch us struggle, including a 17/18-year-old female. It is a pattern of harassment that I am unwilling to tolerate for one more day. There are videos, police reports, and pictures that you've all seen that show there is not enough space when cars, vans, and trucks insist on either stopping outside our driveway or parking there. This is directly outside my driveway. I would have to drive through this car to get out of my driveway. This is directly across from my driveway. There's not enough room for me to get in or out of my driveway. You can clearly see there is plenty of room to pull up. There is no reason to park there. It's done on purpose. This is a gigantic landscaping truck that the other house over there, that's his daddy's landscaping company, and he thinks that that's perfectly fine. Another landscaping truck from the other house stopped in the middle of the road, doing something with a barrel. I would have to smash into them to get in or out of my driveway. No idea who this is or why he's there, but it's in my way. Okay. I have a signed petition from residents who are aware of how we've been treated by these individuals, as well as by the local municipal government. There is a large interest in why you have refused to act, and a lot of support for a solution to be put in place now, as it should have been a very long time ago. Let the record show that we have been subjected to toxic idling, burning, lit cigarettes thrown toward our property, excessive dog barking, harassment, and excessive noise for years. We did what you told us to do. We called the police, we went to court, we did a forced mediation with a mediator who knew them. It cost me thousands of dollars, and I became extremely physically ill, and I'm going for surgery in 2 weeks. Let me be clear. I am the victim in this case, but I am no victim. I am well aware of my rights, and having a safe and consistent access to my own property is serious safety and quality of life issues. Every single county and state official has explained to me repeatedly, and to you, that is the town's responsibility. Most recently, Union County Commissioner Mirabella wrote to me and said, "You informed him you're working on it with me, but I have no idea how that's possible since you don't communicate with me and nothing has been put in place." On New Year's Eve day, a large white van was parked directly where we need to pull in to get into my driveway. After years of begging you for help, I became overwhelmed and suffered from a serious panic attack. It took 3 calls and 30 minutes for the police to arrive. Then I was told that an ambulance was told to wait until the police came to my aid because I was acting erratically. This is me strapped in my car, acting erratically. They heard me yelling on the 911 tape. If any of you have ever experienced a panic attack, it mimics this feeling of a heart attack. You cannot catch your breath. You are sweating, you are nauseous, you are dizzy, and you feel like you're going to die. That's why I was yelling. In 20 years here, I have never called for medical attention. As a mental health provider, I would never, ever want this to happen to one of my clients. Cars repeatedly stop and block the flow of traffic, which is 39-4-67, as seen here. This isn't once in a while. This is all day, every day. multiple times a day. This is the only way in and the only way out of our property. These are a few of thousands of images that I have shared with you. So I am here tonight because I want to know the procedure for what you are going to do to provide us the access to our street and our property every single day, all day.
Paul, I'm going to leave it to you.
We've been over and over this for years. We are not doing anything.
Why?
It's been evaluated and determined it's not necessary. The fact that you continue to send in action line requests, go on social media, the information you put out, we do not agree with, I'll put it that way.
Every single thing I said is true and
Your
provable.
opinion, okay?
It's actually what happened.
Threatened litigation, and we're not going to engage any further. I've made that clear.
I don't have a lawyer now.
I sent you, it doesn't matter whether you have a lawyer. I sent you a letter a year ago telling you we engaged with you, we tried to direct you, you did not want to take our
I
recommendation.
did everything you told me to do.
No, you did. I'm not going to, this is not a debate. You
But
asked-
you're saying false information. I know what I did. I know what I
It is
did.
public comment, and I'm telling you, the determination has been made, it's not necessary, and no action is being taken. Done.
Good, that's on record, and I'm glad that everyone in the community will hear that. Thanks, guys.
Anyone else wishing to address council?
Really sick, guys, really sick.
Yes, Alan?
Alan Swanson, 47 Overhill Road. I'll change the tone a little. I'd like to thank Denise, actually. Today I was reading over the agenda, and the resolution about the affordable housing referred a couple of times to what turned out to be a rather important document when I read it, because it explained what was in the resolution. And it wasn't there, so I came over this morning and asked about it, why it wasn't included, and pretty much was told that it just wasn't going to be included. I didn't really talk to Denise. I spoke to another clerk, but with just a very short period of time, Denise talked to Mr. Rizzo, and the memo was added to the agenda item, to the resolution, which was great because it really needed to be there to have the full explanation as to the change from the 210 to the 198. So I appreciate that was there. The other thing is I feel like if there's a reference to an attached document that explains what's in the resolution or what it is that you're going to be voting on, unless there's a real clear-cut reason, legal, personnel, what have you, why that document should not be included for citizens to look at, it should be there. Or there should be a reason that it's stated why it's not there, so that it's not necessary for me to come in over to the Borough Hall to ask to have it included. I just hope that in the future that you'll all keep that in mind, that it's really important. I know that not a lot of people pay as much attention as I do. So that's, I wanted to mention that. The other thing I wanted to mention, that in the resolution there is a mention of the Montvale case and leaving out the possibility that if there is a change, and of course you know that yesterday the Montvale case was rejected for the 5th time by the Superior Court in Mercer County, and so I just don't believe that case is going to be going anywhere. Just a piece of information. The other thing that I wanted to say is thanks a lot for putting in the charging stations. It's a start, I mean, it really, we need to have this start, and I appreciate, you know, that I've brought it up in the past, and I appreciate that you followed through and made it happen.
I
Yes?
want to mention something about that. So Doug Sullivan and I and some others on the Sustainability Committee, the New Jersey DEP has a pretty good website of saying how many electric vehicles are in by zip code. So New Providence has approximately 900 electric vehicles.
What?
And not broken down by plug-in hybrids, hybrids that are not plug-in, or just all electric vehicles. So there's, as you said, Alan, I think there's a big demand. I'm very happy for the borough that we accomplished this, but this is only the beginning.
Well, I can tell you, and I think you probably know, when you drive an electric car, you're not going to go back.
I agree.
It's just not going to happen. You know, come and visit me, and I'll let you drive my car, and you'll see why.
But I really like that whoa, 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 whoa sound.
I didn't
Well, wait
the safety features backing up, though. That's the safety.
You know that they actually have systems that you can put in your electric car to make them sound like you're shifting gears and everything. So.
I miss my Mustang.
And I got to say, one more thing. When I first got this car, one of the things that you know, an Overhill Road's a very small road, and when people are walking their dogs and things, and I would be driving up, they wouldn't know that I was there.
That's why they put the sound in.
So most electric cars now have, when you're driving at a very slow speed, they have a noisemaker, so that in parking lots and whatnot, people know that are walking by, pedestrians know that, oh, by the way, there's a car there.
No.
But I often say to my wife when we're traveling along, that person doesn't know we're here. So, and I'm not going to honk my horn or anything and scare them, but it's just an interesting little thing. So thank you.
Hey, take care of that clerk problem, huh? You have anything, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Conley, 415 Elkwood Avenue. Another topic of a different stripe. This is more a national issue that even impacts New Providence, even though we're a little suburban town tucked away in the Watchung Mountains. And that's the immigration sweeps that are going on. For the council, just wondering, I know, I'm positive that there's residents in our town who are terrified right now, who don't know what's going to happen to them, only because news is flashed, 24 hours a day. They see black-clad policemen with guns. That may not happen here, that probably won't happen here, but anyway, my question is, have there been any conversations between the borough and the state or the county or other municipalities about just...
No.
Okay.
All I can say is this, you know, in New Providence, we don't go looking, we're not going to be looking for people. That's not our job. As you heard the mayor of Patterson, Mayor Saig, he said, you know what, they come in, there's not much we can do about it. You know, all I can say is that we don't go looking for people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're born here or you're legal, not legal, whatever. You commit a crime in this town, you're going to be arrested and prosecuted. If you don't do anything, nobody's going to bother you. Just go to work, and that's all I can say about our locals.
And that's exactly the answer that I expected you to give me, and I appreciate and I agree with you.
No, and the chief is here. We're not looking for problems. You know?
If you wouldn't mind, if I could just add.
Sure.
To that. So in 2018, the Attorney General in the state of New Jersey instituted what's called the Immigrant Trust Directive, which basically outlined the guidelines on how we participate with the federal agencies in relation to immigration. And it's very limited outside of the active investigation of serious crime in the state of New Jersey. What's interesting to note is that in the state of New Jersey, the Attorney General's directives have the effect of law based upon the way our Constitution's written. We just got a notification from today, actually, from the Division of Criminal Justice, indicating that this policy is still in effect, and we're not to deviate from this policy, and that the 21 county prosecutors will be reviewing it with the Attorney General in the coming weeks. So we don't anticipate any changes, and our interactions in these situations are very limited from what we deal with. And as what we do is we'll follow this directive and its enforcement, so.
Good.
Okay?
Thank you.
It's accessible on the internet, Immigrant Trust Directive from 2018, you can read it.
Right.
Okay?
Great.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Bob. I guess that's a good question, because I guess there are a lot of people out there, and I don't know who they are, and, you know, that may be worried, but,
Yeah.
you know.
At this time, do you think it would be prudent to say something on, even just on the website, like a reiteration of what we just heard here, or do you think we need
I
to?
don't see where that's gonna do any good.
I'm only thinking from the perspective of somebody who doesn't know where they stand and doesn't know where their government stands. I don't know if it's a reaction, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's all determined by the federal law.
Yeah,
You know, what else could we say?
okay. You've said it well already.
Yeah.
It's in the minutes.
Well, you know, I think all of us, you know, feel bad for some hardworking people that want to do well for their families.
Right.
I mean, I get it. It's, you know, but there's a lot of problems that came in the past 4 years. And I feel sorry for the people that are just trying to, you know, make a good
Get
life
along,
for
yeah.
themselves.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
On that note,
Okay.
sorry, just wanted to mention that the League of Municipalities is having a webinar on Friday for all the local, you know, governments, and it's being put on sort of at a national level, because everybody's concerned about this. So it's Friday, I forget what time it's going to be, but I plan to join that just to hear.
Is it League of Women Voters?
They're probably going to say what we just said here.
Yeah.
Probably,
And
But that's
but
good.
I mean, Mayor Adams said the
Enforce
same
it.
thing today. Well, and same in Boston, they, you know, you commit a crime, you're going.
You're at risk, right.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council? Seeing no one, I
I
do.
have one question for Paul.
Yes.
Real quick. Rebecca left, but I'm wondering, do you think it would be advisable to send some kind of correspondence to Rebecca, just reiterating everything that you said tonight on behalf of council and borough staff and mayor, just, you know, because
Yeah, just send a letter that you
just
wrote
send a
before.
letter.
Just to confirm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to confirm everything
Yeah.
and just reiterate what you said tonight.
So it's in writing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, seeing no one else, thank you, Dan, appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
I declare the public hearing closed, and I need a motion on 1 through 18, please.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Dolan?
Aye.
Ms. Belisca?
Aye.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Joffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Kogan? Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Okay, I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and be safe out there. I know the weather's going to be changing. You're saying maybe some snow, maybe not. Let's hope not. I think tomorrow's supposed to be in the high 40s, right?
Yeah, balmy.
The heat wave, so, yeah. Okay, thank you. Good night. And a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
My
Second.
favorite part. All in favor?
Aye.
No? So be it.